Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our series here on occupations. We're learning the English names for the different types of work that people do. We've already had one lesson, and we've learned 20, and today we're going to take a look at another 20. We're starting out in the corporate world today, and we're thinking about, first of all, the CEO. Have you ever asked somebody, "What do you do?" And they answer, "Oh, I am the CEO of," and then they tell you the name of the corporation that they're working for. I am the CEO. Do you know what that means, CEO? Well, it's short for Chief Executive Officer. In other words, he's the main guy at that corporation as far as directing the company. And so when someone says that they are a CEO of a large corporation, you should probably be impressed that they have made it to that level in their corporation, a chief executive officer. Now, if it's an organization more than a corporation, the term might be just a little bit different. They might say, "Oh, I'm the ED of, a non-profit organization." And you might wonder, what is an ED? What does an ED do? Well, it's a lot like the CEO, and it stands for Executive Director. Executive Director. Some people might just say, "Oh, I'm the president of such and such corporation or organization." That's another term that means a lot the same as CEO and ED. I'm the president. However, because president is also used for the name of the top job in countries, in many countries, that's what we call the person at the top of the government, the President of the United States, for example. Here in Canada, we call him the Prime Minister, but in many countries it is the President. So a lot of organizations and corporations have changed and have stopped using the president as the title for the person who has the top role in the organization, and have come up with some of these other names: CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and ED, Executive Director. Today, we're taking a little bit different approach. We're talking about the jobs and the types of work and positions that people have in a conversational way, and maybe explaining a little bit about the job itself. And then at the end of this lesson, we'll go through each of the new vocabulary words that we learned and just concentrate on the vocabulary. So let's continue. Have you ever heard somebody say, "Oh, I'm the CFO of such and such an organization"? I'm the CFO. And you might wonder, well, what does a CFO do? And it's okay as you're having a conversation with someone, especially when they can tell that you're just learning English. They'll understand. If someone says something like, "Oh, I'm the CFO," it's no problem for you to say, "Oh, what is a CFO? I've been wondering about that. What does it mean? What does it stand for?" CFO. But it's also good to learn these things so that as you live in an English-speaking environment for a while, you won't have to be asking people questions like that. But if you're just arrived, no problem to ask. People won't look at you funny because you're asking that kind of question. So if you're wondering, just go ahead and ask, what is a CFO? And what it stands for is Chief Finance Officer, or Chief Financial Officer. And what a CFO does at an organization or a corporation is to manage at the top level all of the finances of the corporation. That's the top position. Of course, there'll be many accountants and bookkeepers working in their department, but they'll be the lead person leading the financial decisions and operations of the financial department. Chief Finance Officer. Now here's one that you don't hear quite as often. I'm the CCO of such and such a corporation or organization. The CCO, Chief Communications Officer. And you might ask them, well, what does a Chief Communications Officer do? And they will tell you the types of work that they do. They're basically responsible in the public relations. That's an older term that used to be used. I'm in public relations, you may have heard someone say. And the work that they're responsible for is the communications between the corporation and the public. If somebody gives a bad report about the work that they're doing, well, they need to step up and get in gear and kind of handle that communications crisis. They're responsible for making a statement to the news, for example, or a statement to the press, explaining the situation that may have arisen. And so that's one of their jobs. Another job is just to keep the public aware of the type of work they're doing. They may want to promote the company and make sure that people are thinking well of the company. And so it's an important job at a corporation. It is the person that stands between the public and the corporation. And they do their best to give the corporation that they're working for a good name, a good brand, a good reputation. And so, yes, they're also involved in branding, we call it. And that involves logos and helping people be aware of the type of products that they're producing. The Chief Communications Officer. It's an important job. In fact, when I'm not doing Study English with Frank, I'm actually working in a communications department at the organization that I work for. I'm not the Chief Communications Officer, but I work in that department. So I am very familiar with the types of things that can happen and the different ways that we need to relate to the public. Okay, moving on. Loans Officer, or simply Loan Officer. And this individual is usually working at a bank. That's where you usually go to get a loan, although there are other corporations that are set up just to offer people loans. But it's usually good to shop around, and a bank is usually the best place to go to get a loan. And they usually have someone working at the bank that is just in charge of reviewing people's applications for a loan and talking to them, asking questions, going over the forms, and offering them the type of loan at the type of interest rate that the bank is offering. And so they'll sit down and talk to the customer and make sure that they are in a good position to pay back the loan and that they understand everything about the contract. And so that's his job, a loan officer. Construction worker. What do you do? Oh, I'm a construction worker. A construction worker. And if someone tells you that, you might want to ask them, oh, what kind of construction work do you do? Because there's many different types of jobs on a construction site. They might be a welder, like this man in the photograph, or they might be doing carpentry work, or electrician work, or plumbing work, or running communication lines through the building as it is erected. so many different types of jobs at a construction site. So you will want to ask, what kind of construction work do you do? University professor. I am a university professor. And again, you might want to ask her, oh, what subject do you teach? Usually, when someone is a university professor, they have become very accomplished in their field of study. They may have a doctorate degree in the field that they teach. And so it's an important position. It's an important job that they have in teaching students. And you'll want to know, and I'm sure they'll want to tell you what type of subjects that they teach, whether it's math or physics, chemistry, biology. They'll want to tell you what they are teaching at their university. Our next job is a bartender. Bartender. If you walk into a bar, you're going to probably see this person behind the bar, and that person is usually there to take your order and maybe mix your drink. Sometimes they might even call themselves a mixologist. A mixologist, because they have specialized in mixing different types of drinks. People come in and they have a special type of drink that they like. And so if you are a bartender, you need to know how to mix hundreds of different types of drinks for people when they come in. And so a bartender. A lot of times a bartender is also someone who needs to be good at psychology, because a lot of people will come in and talk to the bartender about their problems. And they need to be able to know how to have a good conversation with people when they come in. A bartender. Personal trainer. A personal trainer. I am a personal trainer. And personal trainers usually work at gyms. So if you sign up and become a member at a gymnasium, you will also be given the opportunity to sign up to have your own personal trainer. It's usually optional. You don't have to pay the extra money to have a personal trainer when you sign up to have a membership at a gym. But it will probably be offered to you, and they might give you a special to try out having a personal trainer for 1 month at a very special price. A personal trainer. And it's good if you're, especially the first time that you're maybe working out at a gymnasium with all of the different types of equipment that are there, and you're just starting building a routine of workout. Well, this person is a professional and can help you build up slowly so that you don't injure yourself when you first start working out. A personal trainer. What type of work do you do? Oh, I'm in IT. Have you ever had somebody answer you that way? Oh, I'm an IT specialist. And you might wonder, well, what is an IT specialist? What does IT stand for? In English, we shorten things a lot. We abbreviate a lot and try and be able to be very efficient with our speaking. And so a lot of these jobs do have an abbreviation. I'm in IT. And basically it stands for information technology. Information technology. But because that's a real mouthful, people will just say, I'm an IT worker, or I'm an IT professional. And basically their position at a corporation is one to help people get set up with their computers at their desk and make sure that their computers are all connected to the internet and are able to print. And if you have a question about some software, they know the software very well and can answer your questions, especially when you're new at an organization and they might have some very specialized software that they work with for keeping your timesheets or reporting your expenses. Well, as you start out at that workplace, you will probably have a few sessions with the IT specialist. And then if anything goes wrong with your computer and you don't know how to fix it, well, you can call the IT person or the IT specialist, the IT professional, and they'll come over and fix your computer. Usually they'll ask this question: did you try just restarting? Did you try turning off your computer, waiting 10 seconds and turning it on again? Because that usually fixes a lot of computer problems. And so that'll be the first thing that they ask. But if you've done that and your computer is still not working properly, they're usually able to help you get it back running again. If it has a bad virus, they'll be able to clean your hard drive and get you going again. They will be the person that will probably help you set up your email account as well. And we have an IT specialist working at our organization, the one that I work for, and I don't need her services very often, but I really do appreciate her and the work that she does when I do have a question. It can save me a couple of hours of trying to figure it out myself, because she works with these situations all the time. She knows the answer right away and can save me a lot of time. All right, our next occupation. What do you do? I am a school principal. A school principal. And that's usually the head teacher at a school. Some cultures call them the headmaster, the top position at a school. They might still teach a little bit themselves, especially if one of their teachers is sick for the day. They might fill in and teach a class, but primarily they do administrative work and make sure that the school is running properly and that all of the teachers are happy. A school principal. And if a teacher has a problem child that isn't listening and doing their work, or there may be causing a commotion, a problem, well, the teacher can send the student to the principal's office. The principal's office. And then the child or the student has to talk to the school principal. That's another job that they do. What do you do? Oh, I am a coach. I work at the local high school. I teach basketball. I coach basketball, or I coach soccer. And so this is the individual who knows the sport very well and can give good ideas and tips to the team members of the sport at the school. It doesn't have to be a school. It could be a professional sport. We have many professional sports here in Canada: football, baseball, hockey. And each one of these sports usually has a coach. That's a professional person that may have been active as a professional in that sport when they were younger, and now they bring all of their knowledge and are able to share it with the younger generation. A coach. A janitor. I really appreciate the work that janitors do. At night, when we have gone home from the office, They are able to come around and clean the floors, clean the desktops, disinfect everything, and take the garbage away, and clean the windows, get dust everywhere. And so we really appreciate the work that janitors do. And it's not just at organizations or corporations. There's always work for janitors to do at schools, for example, or at the hospital, or clinics, or dentist offices. And so there's many places that a janitor can work. What do you do? Oh, I am a banker. Someone might say, I am a banker. Or I'm in banking, they might say. When someone says, I am a banker, it usually means that they hold an administrative position at the bank. They might even be the top administrator at the bank. I'm a banker. But it may be that they are just a loan officer at the bank too, or a teller, and still say that I'm a banker. I work at a bank is basically what it's saying. But usually when they answer your question, I'm a banker, it means that they're an administrator at the bank. Maid. Maid. It's so important to have maids. We really appreciate the work of maids. I spend a lot of my time traveling and stay in a lot of different hotels and appreciate the services of the maids that work at the hotels. But maids can also come to the home as well and help people keep their homes clean. If people have a large house, they might even have a live-in maid, someone to clean and dust and make beds and do the laundry, someone who is a full-time maid at the house. I think we would like that at our house, to have a full-time maid cleaning around the house so that we can do more lessons here on Study English with us and Study English with Frank. But we don't have room for them to live here, so... And the funny thing about having a maid come to the house is that people are usually so embarrassed to have anybody see how messy their house is that they'll spend an hour or two cleaning up themselves before they let the maid come. And so it kind of defeats the purpose. But people still use the services of a maid. When you ask people what they do, have you ever had anybody say, "Oh, I'm in HR"? HR. Again, here in Canada and the United States, we like to abbreviate things. And this stands for human resources. This is the person that you might talk to when you're interviewing for a job. And then once you start working for the company, they might spend the first day with you at work to orient you to all of the company policies that you need to follow as you work there. And also, the human resources manager may be the person that you go to if you have a question about the policies of the company or the benefits that you are allowed to have when working for that company. They have all of the answers to your questions about the policies of the company that you're working for. If you get in trouble with your boss and you want somebody to mediate the problem or situation, you might go to human resources and talk to the manager there, and they can help you sort out your rights as an employee at the company. What do you do? Oh, I'm a hotel manager. Oh, a hotel manager. What's the name of the hotel that you work at, you might ask? And how big of a hotel is it? How many staff are you managing at the hotel? And the hotel manager is usually the one that kind of administrates all of the people that work at the hotel, whether they have clerks or a restaurant, a bar, all of the different employees that work at a hotel, you would be responsible for and administrate as a hotel manager. Hotel manager. Have you heard of a social media manager? Social media manager? Many companies today have a social media manager. If you like working on Facebook and keeping in contact with all of your friends and posting things on social media, you might like this job. We have one at our workplace as well. There's one person dedicated to making sure that we let the public know all of the things that we're doing at our company through our social media platforms. And so she's responsible for Facebook and Instagram, the YouTube channel at our worksite. And this has become so important these days to have a social media presence to interact with your public or your clients or your potential donors if you're an organization, that this has become a full-time job at many companies and organizations. So if you're looking for a job and you're very good at social media, you might look into that as a career. Social media manager. Now, some companies will have different ways of ending the title. For example, some companies will say social media specialist. Social media specialist. Or social media professional. Social media professional. And so just keep that in mind when you're talking to people. The way it ends can vary depending on the corporation that they work for and the way they've decided to create their titles. All right, a sales agent. A sales agent. When you ask somebody, oh, what type of work do you do? They might say, oh, I'm in sales. I'm in sales. And almost every corporation will have sales agents if you're running shops or have a store, or if you're an insurance company, or if you are a car rental company. Everybody has to have sales agents, right, to sell the products that your company is producing. A maintenance worker. I am a maintenance worker. Maintenance worker. And these are the people that go around and fix everything at the office place or the school, make sure everything is running properly, the AC, the lights, the electrical outputs, everything is working fine. Maintenance worker. What do you do? Oh, I am a housewife. A housewife. And the first time that you hear this in English, you might wonder, well, what does it mean to be a housewife as a job? Well, what this simply means is that when a couple gets married, the woman might decide that she's not going to go to work. She'll just stay at home and make sure that the house is running properly and cleaned, and all of the work around the house is taken care of. Especially if there are children coming along, it is probably one of the most important jobs that a woman can do, is to raise the children at home. Now, some people don't like to think of themselves as a housewife, especially these modern days. It used to be the term back in the 50s and 60s, but then in Canada and the United States, as you got into the 1970s, women tried to break away from being labeled as a housewife, and so they might change it to homemaker. I'm a homemaker. And so if you ask somebody what they do and she responds, oh, I'm a homemaker, It doesn't mean that she builds houses. It just means that she keeps up the house where she lives to make sure everything is running properly. I'm a homemaker. Or another term that people will use is I'm a stay-at-home mom. A stay-at-home mom. In other words, she doesn't have a job that she goes to every day. She spends all of her time and energy raising the children and making sure everything is running smoothly at home. It's clean, all the laundry is done, the dishes are done. The couple have decided together that the wife will stay at home and do all of these things while the husband goes out to earn the money to pay for everything. And sometimes when you ask that question, they might even say something, oh, I'm a household engineer. A household engineer. And that's just a very important sounding title for a housewife or homemaker. Now, before we go on, I should probably mention that in some couples, they decide together that it is the man who will stay home and keep the house and raise the children and feed the children and do the dishes and do the laundry. It could be that when a couple gets married, the woman is the professional and she is making a whole lot more money at her job than the husband is. And so it may be that especially when the children come along, the man will quit his job and just stay at home and work and raise the children and do the dishes and the laundry and keep the house clean. And so he might say, oh, I'm a homemaker, or I'm a stay-at-home dad. And so that can happen as well. Don't be surprised if a man says that here in Canada or the United States. What do you do? I am a lifeguard. A lifeguard. And this is usually the person who is making sure that everybody's safe when they're swimming at a pool or at a lake or an ocean. There's usually someone there. If it's a public beach or pool, there's someone there to make sure that everybody is safe. If someone starts to drown, the lifeguard will dive in and save them. I am a lifeguard. I am a lab technician. A lab technician. Oh, what type of lab do you work at? And then they can tell you what type of lab technician that they are. They might be in research, they might be in testing, they might be the ones that are testing your COVID test to make sure that you're okay. A lab technician. I'm a building inspector. A building inspector. And you might ask them, oh, what kind of buildings do you inspect? And why do you inspect buildings? You might ask. These people will go around and make sure that the contractors, the builders, are following all of the rules and regulations for their city, their state, their province, their country. I am a house appraiser. A house appraiser. Now, these are the people that you really need to hire if you're thinking of buying a house, because they will go all through the house, in the basement, in the attic, up in the roof, and take a look and see what kind of shape the house is in that you're thinking of buying. And it'll cost you maybe a couple of $100 for him to do his house inspection. But it is worth the money to do that. If you're really interested in buying a house, you will want to know ahead of time just exactly what kind of shape the house is in before you invest your money. And in fact, if you are thinking of getting a loan to purchase your house, the bank will most likely require that you have your house appraised so that they know exactly how much the house is worth before they loan you the money, as well as any potential repairs that need to go into the house before it is safe and livable. A house appraiser. Now, I might point out here that the word appraiser is not just for houses. You can be an appraiser of diamonds, for example, or jewelry. You could be an appraiser of a stamp collection or a coin collection. And basically what that means is you are an expert in the type of item that you're appraising, and you can determine the current value very easily. And so an appraiser can be a term that is used for many different types of things. A communications specialist. Most organizations these days have a communications specialist. When someone says something like that, it simply means that the type of work that they are doing at the company where they work is all about communications. They're the ones that are responsible to be the go-between the company and the media, the press, the TV station, the radio station, the newspaper. They're the person that makes sure that the company is in good standing with the press, and that the press and the public understands what the company is doing and how it is benefiting the community. A communications specialist. They might specialize in video. They might specialize in designing brochures and print. So there's many different types of jobs you can do in communications. It's actually the work that I do at the organization where I work. I'm in communications. And I happen to specialize in video and photography. And so my actual title is multimedia specialist. A multimedia specialist. I am a bank teller. A bank tiller. And these are the people that take your money and put it safely away in your account. Or if you go and cash a check, or you're just getting some money out of your bank account, the bank teller is the person that is there to help you either take your money or give you money as you might need it. All right, well, that's it for this section. Now we can do our vocabulary drill. CEO. CEO. Chief Executive Officer. Executive Director. Executive Director. CFO. CFO. Chief Finance Officer. Chief Finance Officer. CCO. CCO. Chief Communications Officer. Chief Communications Officer. Loan Officer. Loan Officer. Construction Worker. Construction Worker. University Professor. University Professor. Bartender. Bartender. Personal Trainer. Personal Trainer. IT. IT. Information Technology. Information Technology. IT Specialist. IT Specialist. IT professional. IT professional. School principal. School principal. Coach. Coach. Janitor. Janitor. Banker. Banker. Maid. Maid. HR. HR. Human Resources Manager. Human Resources Manager. Hotel Manager. Hotel Manager. Social Media Manager. Social Media Manager. Sales Agent. Sales Agent. Building Inspector. Building Inspector. Maintenance Worker. Maintenance Worker. Housewife. Housewife. Homemaker. Homemaker. Stay-at-home mom. Stay-at-home mom. Household engineer. Household engineer. Lifeguard. Lifeguard. Lab technician. Lab technician. House appraiser. House appraiser. Communications specialist. Communications specialist. Bank teller. Bank teller.